Clickbait.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
All right, in our number 2 story, uh, there's a lot of games out there that are sex based, right? But here's the thing that you have, I call it a disconnect because you have that mixture between the sex games that it's just sex and you're just sitting there waiting for whatever happens, whether it's some kind of orgasm thing or whatever different sex moves. But then there's those games where you're playing it and you're like, man, this game is actually fun. And it just happens to have a sex component to it to the point where you can't really show it to everybody. It's like, you just got to keep it to yourself. And Tifatan X2 is one of those games that I basically saw just searching the internet, of course, for nasty shit. And I see this game and I'm like, this looks familiar. Now, for those of you who haven't played it, it's based off a classic game called Kung Fu. And in Kung Fu, you were basically like a Kung Fu guy who was going from floor to floor, trying to get to the master. And I think it was to save your girlfriend. And basically it was one of those where you could go left or right. And all these guys kept coming from from the left side or right side. And you would like punch or kick. And the thing is that they never really hit you per se. They would like grab you and you'd have to shake them off because the longer they hold on to you, you're like losing health. And it's like, I guess they're strangling you or hitting you with like some kind of gentle palm technique or something. But this is what it's based off of, except in this version, you can actually do a whole bunch of moves. And it's actually pretty interesting because you actually have combos in this thing where you're doing like Hadoukens, you're doing dragon punches, you can do drop kicks, you can throw someone up in the air, grab them and do a backbreaker. I mean, it's crazy. It's actually fun game to play. Now, the sexual component is you're basically playing as Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. That's the fighting chick with the huge knockers. So what happens is that when they grab you, they're basically trying to molest you. So first when they grab you, it's like they're just wrap their arms around you. But then after like a second or two, they're like pulling up your shirt and they're showing everything. And then it just gets worse from there. And then basically when you run out of health, then it's like you're left helpless for them to take advantage of you. So obviously it's made to be like sexual. It's not appropriate and everything. But the problem is that the fighting is great. Like when you have all these guys on screen attacking you and you're doing combos and kicking their butt. I mean, it's probably the closest that us guys in the basement get to woman power. Because you're like, you ain't gonna molest me. You want to touch these? Nah, touch this. And you're beating ass. I mean, my goal was to play the game with them never getting to see me naked. And it's like, I was like, I don't want to see sexual stuff. I want to beat these people ass. And I think that this game should be nominated for all the people who ever have anyone like trying to mess with them. It's like beat their ass and don't let them be silly. So, I mean, what you think when you saw the game?
Like it's funny because like, you know, when you look at it, it's that typical like pixelated, you know, like type of game. But in reading the description and everything like that of it, I was like, shit, that it does play like, you know, like the old Kung Fu. Like I love that game. I loved playing that game. It was a fun game. Like you said, it was like you're going after your girlfriend or whatever, and you had the different things. And that was the thing that was funny about that game is it really wasn't much to the game itself. Yeah. It was you scrolled left and right, you knocked the guys. You had like maybe those dudes that would throw the knife that was the only projectile you had to worry about. Other than the like fourth floor or whatever, where it was all the freaking insects that would fly and all that. But that like. It's funny as hell that like they show the one picture of like an up close of what they're doing to her as they're grabbing her, which is funny as hell. And it's like you say, the thing that's really funny about it is you think about it like, oh, if it wasn't really a good game, like whatever. But it's like, damn, it's a good game. Yeah, it makes it even funnier.
You know, to me, it's kind of like one of the things that's really interesting about like old porn, like old adult films. Is when they put a movie into it. And it's like, seriously, yes, when you go and look at that, you're still looking for the TNA, the sex and all that. But man, I remember I saw this one that was elaborate. It was like Victorian era. They had like full costume. I mean, it was maybe 15 minutes of different scenes and dialogue before any sexual thing happened. I mean, they put work into this movie. And it's just like, you just think about the writers, the directors, the cinematographers, all these people who put all this work into a porno, where nowadays it's like, yeah, just lay on the ground on this dirty mattress and we'll point our iPhone at you. But man, it's the same thing with these games. People are putting in serious work. Back in the day, it was like these little cheap little barely animated things just so you could see some boobies or something. But no, people have fight mechanics and all types of things in these games where you're like, wow, this is really well and put together.
That's funny.
Hey guys, listen. You like the games? You like the interviews? You like the shows? How about you click on that subscribe button and also give us a like? We really need your help here, huh?